Okay, so the first thing you need to do to get to work on this dish is obviously start with cooking your pasta. So I have got some fettuccine in my pot here. That water is seasoned really, really well with salt. Now, the reason I do that is that's gonna season that pasta as it cooks, but it's also gonna season the sauce when we add a few splashes of that water into this pan. It's gonna be perfect. So that's doing its thing. Obviously I use fettuccine, but if you don't have fettuccine, you can do penne Alfredo. You can do whatever you want, whatever you've got hanging around. But now we're gonna get to work on the sauce. This comes together really quickly. Basically, in the time it takes for those noodles to cook, your sauce will be good to go. So I've got a pan here over about medium heat. And into there, I'm gonna go in with a tablespoon of butter. Love a butter, so good. You think most Italian dishes, you think obviously olive oil, but butter, it's a good thing. Gives a little bit of sweetness into there. Okay, so I'm gonna get that nice and melted down. Now, if you were doing a classic fettuccine or a North American style fettuccine Alfredo, you wouldn't be adding this next ingredient, but I wanted to spring it up a little. You know, on spring rainy days where you're like, why is it raining? You're kind of bummed about it. But then you realize, oh, that's what's gonna grow me my asparagus and all those delicious spring ingredients that I love. So we're gonna celebrate that today. So I have got just a bunch of asparagus here that I have trimmed and snapped. Now, if you've never prepared asparagus before, basically what you wanna do is grab the stalk and give it a little bit of a bend, and where it snaps, that's where the woody part is, and that's where the nice tender part is. So just go through the whole bunch, give it a little bit of snap, and you're good to go. And I'm gonna cut this into about 1-inch pieces. If you don't have asparagus, or maybe it's not, oh, that's the woody bit. I should have actually snapped all those. Those are gonna go to the side, all right? You can also tell with your knife, so you're good to go. If you don't have asparagus, you could do this with peas, even just frozen peas. Those were picked last spring. They're gonna be delish. But I'm gonna go into the pan with those veg, because I wanna give it a bit of a head start. Our butter is going a little golden brown, which is never a bad thing. That's just kind of free flavor. You're toasting those milk solids in that butter. Give that a little bit of a shimmy. Season it up with some salt. Little bit of pepper as well. And you just want to cook that asparagus for about 2 to 3 minutes. That's going to get it nice and bright and green. Still going to be crispy, but a little bit more tender. To be honest, anytime spring vegetables start being in the mix, I like to keep them almost as raw as possible because they've got a really nice texture. They're sweet and delicious. So you don't want to overcook this and make this asparagus brown. Still want it nice and bright and green to remind you on this rainy day that the sun exists somewhere and it's doing good things. All right, while that gets cooking down, I'm gonna prep the next ingredients I'm gonna add into that pan. The first thing is a little bit of garlic, because no good pasta is good without some garlic. We got someone very excited about garlic in the audience, and I'm very happy about that. Now, for me, if I was doing this at home, I would just wait until that asparagus was cooked and do this right into the pan, but I'm gonna get prepped here. So I'm just gonna mince or rasp 2 cloves of garlic right onto my board. I hate chopping garlic. I'm pretty much always a rasper unless it's gonna be a slice. So just get that nice and fine. The finer you chop or work with garlic, the punchier that flavor is gonna be, which is exactly what I want. This is a really simple sauce. There's not a ton of stuff going into it, so you want everything to bring as much flavor as possible. So there you go, we got that garlic good to go. In addition to that, we're gonna need some pepper. And by some pepper, I mean about ½ a teaspoon of pepper, which is a good amount. So I want to pre-grind this. If you have a pestle and mortar, feel free to do that. If you've got one of those robot ones, what a delight. I don't. So what I like to do is get a little jar, pop my pepper mill into it, and just grate or grind it right into there. That allows you to measure it. You can actually tell how much you're actually putting in. Because anytime I tell my mom to put in like a teaspoon of pepper, she maybe does like a 1/16 of a teaspoon. She never really knows how much pepper is going in. So if you do this, you can actually see how much you're grinding and get that in there. All right. That looks, no, that's only about 1/4. We're gonna keep going. See, I'm keeping myself honest. This way you don't have to go chasing that pepper around, but we're feeling good about it. All right, perfect, that's looking great. I'm gonna come check on that beautiful asparagus. It is bright green still, it's crispy and wonderful. So I'm just gonna transfer that aside into a bowl, because I don't want this to keep cooking. I don't want it to turn into that really kind of brown, overcooked asparagus flavor. I want it to stay nice and crispy. So I'm just gonna set that aside. And then I'm gonna add in a little bit more butter into this pan, because in classic fettuccine Alfredo style, we do need a good amount of butter, but just 1 more tablespoon will do. And we're gonna use that to cook that garlic and toast that pepper. This is where you may cough. You may get a little kind of hit of pepper right in your sinuses, but that's gonna be okay. We're gonna go in first with our garlic, add that right on in, and then our pepper. So add that in. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm toasting that pepper. It's gonna get that a really nice kind of warm flavor, which I absolutely love. Stand back from the pan if you don't wanna sneeze. If you do wanna sneeze, this is a great way to get it happening. All right, give that a good mix. Now, you just want to toast that down for about 30 seconds just to toast that pepper and cook off that raw garlic flavor. This is the base kind of flavor for that fettuccine Alfredo. No matter which way you're doing it, it's gonna be beautiful. But into there, we're going for the kind of Canadian style. So we're gonna add in our cream. Now, you wanna use whipping cream here. If you used a lighter cream, you'd have to boil it down more, which is just concentrating it more. So you'd have to use more cream, which is not what you wanna do. Just use the full fat cream. 35% whipping cream, that's what we like to do here on The Good Stuff. So I'm going with a cup of this. A whole cup of cream right on into that pan. And you want that to just simmer down for just about 4 minutes maybe, just until it simmers down by about a quarter, just to thicken up a titch. That's also gonna bring in that beautiful pepper flavor, that beautiful garlic flavor. Immediately it starts to bubble up. It's gonna start to get a little bit more blippy. So while that does its thing, let's get to work on the final ingredients for this dish. This is super simple to put together. The first thing we're gonna need is a little bit of lemon zest, which I love. Gotta love a lemon zest. So I'm gonna zest about a lemon, half a lemon, whatever you're feeling. This is not traditional. If you don't wanna add this, feel free to leave it out, but this is something that I think brings a really nice springy touch. It's bright and delish. So get that nice and zested. Perfect. This also makes your cutting board smell amazing, which kind of is a dream. All right, now I'm also gonna grate about a cup. Do we like the smell? Yeah. Okay, there's people. We're feeling good about this one, I'm not gonna lie. All right, I'm gonna grate about a cup of Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. Parmigiano Reggiano is the classic for fettuccine Alfredo, but if you wanted, you could use Grana Padano, you could do Pecorino Romano, any sort of good hard grating cheese that's Italian will be good to go. So you want a cup, so we're just gonna keep grating and keep grating and keep grating. I kind of feel bad. Do you remember, like, I feel like back in the early 2000s and 90s, you'd go to a restaurant and they'd say, "Tell me when they stood next to you? I felt bad for whoever was doing that when I was there, because I was like, "Listen, pal, you're gonna be here all night." All right, that is looking beautiful to me. Now, for a little bit of extra bright freshness, I'm going in with about 2 to 3 tablespoons of some fresh parsley. If you don't have parsley, this is not a must, but again, I love that bright, fresh green flavor. Again, it just reminds you that beautiful spring weather and the sun is coming. So that's looking great. Take a look at this cream, though. See how it's like growing? It looks thick, it looks beautiful. That is looking fantastic. So now I'm gonna add that cheese and that lemon zest right on into that pan. Pop that in. That's gonna give you a ton of flavor. Give that a good mix together. It's gonna start to thicken that cream up just a little bit. And this is the part of the recipe that sounds like it doesn't make sense. We're gonna add that asparagus back in, but then we're gonna add the pasta, as well as a little bit of that cooking liquid. That's gonna thicken things up. Sounds like it's gonna thin it down, but it doesn't. The little bit of starch that's come off those noodles in this water is gonna make almost like food Velcro, making that sauce stick to the noodles. So just grab those noodles and just drag and drop them right on over into the pan. Any water that comes along, feel free. This is the part of the recipe my mom hates, because she's like, well, now my cooktop's covered in cooking water. But that's okay, it's totally worth it. So give it a little bit of a stir, add a little bit more pasta cooking liquid if it's not thick enough, but to me, this looks like a dream. You want the pasta in the pan to be a little bit thinner and sloppier than you want it on the plate. This looks so good, I'm very excited. Let's pop a little bit of that parsley on there as well. You can add some more pepper, a little bit of salt, but to me, this looks like a dream. So let's plate it out. Okay, come on over. Grab a little bit. Ooh, let's show you the chefy trick. Okay, grab a spoon or a ladle, get your tongs, get a good little bunch of that pasta, stick it in there, swirl it up, splash yourself with that beautiful sauce, and then pop it right on in and you get that beautiful little nest. Feeling delish. Those extra bits of that asparagus, absolute dream. I am very excited about this dish. I'd be happy as a clam sitting on my couch while it's raining outside eating this.
Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of The Good Stuff.